Hi, how's it going? My name's Jack Torn and this is the second video looking at the basics of guitar playing technique. So the first video was all about the picking hand, how to set up the hand on the guitar in a good playing position, and then looking at some walking fingers playing technique. So this second lesson moves on to the fretting hand. So the fretting hand's job is quite different to the picking hand. Where the picking hand is all about getting the strings moving and keeping the rhythm going, the fretting hand's job is all to do with pitch, changing the note that you're hearing coming from the string that you're playing. So because this video is an introduction to fretting technique, all we're going to be looking at is moving between the open string, holding down a fret, and then moving back again to the open string, and turning just those two notes into a little tune and a little piece of music. So the first thing we need to think about is how to position the hand on the neck of the guitar so we can reach the frets that we need to play. In this case it's going to be fret 3. And then we're going to look at how you can apply the fingertip to the string so that the string makes a good connection with the fret and you get a nice clean ringing out note like this. And looking at how to avoid getting notes that don't quite ring out like this or like this. So we'll just go to a close-up of the fretting hand on the neck, see how we can find the fret that we need, position the hand, and then get the fingertip working to hold down that string to get some nice, clean sounding notes. Okay, so here we can clearly see the neck of the guitar. I'm going to start off by finding the 3rd fret because it's the only fret we're going to need for the whole of this lesson. So we're going to start off at this fret here. This is fret number 1. It's the one closest to the headstock end of the neck. And then we're just going to simply count up 1, 2, 3 until we find the 3rd fret. Once we find that 3rd fret, we don't actually want to put the finger right on top of that metal fret, because if we play the string like that, it just gives it a kind of bleh. The string doesn't ring out, it's not very clear. So we just want to move the finger slightly back towards the headstock end of the guitar so that the finger is just to the side of the fret, and then the note will ring out nice and clearly. So we want the string to come into contact with fret number 3, but your finger doesn't want to come into contact with fret 3 because that mutes the note and stops it from ringing out. So about 1 millimeter or 2 behind the fret, and then the fingertip pushes the string down, the string comes into contact with the fret you want, and it goes ping. So once you've found that good position on the neck and your finger's nice and close to the fret but not actually touching the metal, we just want to have a look at the fretting technique, so we can look at ways of getting enough pressure to go through that fingertip to push the string down so we get a nice clear note ringing out. And that all comes to the thumb, which is on the back of the neck like this. So we're using the thumb on the back of the neck, so my thumb is just a little bit beyond the halfway point on the neck, closer towards the top side of the neck, and I'm using that thumb to apply pressure to the back of the neck while my finger squeezes on the front of the neck. I'm getting a kind of offset pinching kind of action, so it's a bit of a twist and squeeze between the thumb and the fingers. So my thumb is squeezing against the top of the neck here, and my finger is squeezing against the string on the front. And when I squeeze the thumb and fingers together, you can see that from the side there, that kind of squeezing action. So when my finger and thumb squeeze together, the string gets pushed down, comes into contact with the fret, and it goes ping. So once you've tried that with the first finger, it's worth having a go at doing the same thing using the second finger along. So the second finger would come in, position that on the string nice and close to the fret just as before, not touching the metal. Thumb on the back in the same kind of position, and then squeeze the fingers together with a little bit of a twist, and you get a nice clear note. Then try the same thing with the 3rd finger. And if you're really glutton for some punishment, then you can have a go at using the little finger as well. But bear in mind that the little finger is much weaker than the other 3. It's much less usage day to day, and it's going to take a little bit more training to get that one working, to get enough strength through the finger to get a clear sounding note. We don't need the little finger today, but if you want to try it out, give it a go. The main fingers we're going to be interested in are finger 1 and finger 2. So once you've positioned your finger on the string nice and close to fret 3, and you've got that pinch and slight twist in your hand that's giving you enough pressure to hold the string down, we just want to make sure that we can get those notes ringing out nice and clearly. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and stop. So once you're feeling comfortable with that and you can get a nice strong clear sounding G note coming out of your guitar, we want to have a go at changing note from that G note on the 3rd fret back to the open string. And that all comes down to synchronization and timing between the two hands. We want to be holding down fret 3 to begin with, and then after we've played that note 4 times, we're going to lift the finger just as the picking hand comes in to play the 5th note. So it's going to be holding down the 3rd fret G note. I'm going to play 1, 2, 3, 4, and then let go and keep playing. And our timing wants to be continuous throughout that, so I don't want to go 1, 2, 3, 4, let go, 1. I don't want to have to pause to change the note. I want that to be a constant stream of notes and my finger is just letting go at exactly the right moment so that it can change from the G to the E. So what I'm looking for is 1, 2, 3, 4 and off, 2, 3, 4. So the perfect time to lift your finger will be just before the picking hand finger comes in to play that note for the 5th time. So if you set up your finger on that 3rd fret G note, it should sound like that. I'll count to 4 and we'll start playing. After you've played that note 4 times, lift the finger up. So when you lift your finger off the string, try and keep it about 1 centimetre or so away from the string. So far enough away so that you're not actually touching the string and interfering with the vibration, getting that sort of sound, but not so far away that you'd have to think about positioning your finger again should you want to go back onto that G note in a moment, which is exactly what we're going to do. So this time through, we're going to hold down the G, we'll play it 4 times, we'll let go, we'll play the E note 4 times, and then we'll stop the string from ringing out. So with the 3rd fret held down, after 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and G, 2, 3, 4, and E, 2, 3, 4, and stop. And that's it, moving from the G 3rd fret note to the E, which is the open string. And the next thing to do is to try moving from the open E string onto the G note. So that requires a little bit more preparation. We need to set the hand up. So we'll just have a close-up view of this so you can see exactly how I'm setting my finger up ready to play that G note. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is find fret 3, 1, 2, 3, and then position my finger on the string and give it a quick play, make sure it's ringing out. So now I know I'm in a good position, I'm going to lift the finger off the string about 1 centimetre or so. Hopefully you can see that there. And then with my finger ready in that position, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then apply that finger to the string and keep playing. So let's just have a go at playing that together. I'll count you in with a 1, 2, 3, 4. So listen to the speed that I'm counting at, because that's going to be the speed that we're going to play these notes at. And then after 4, we'll join in together. So finger set up, give that G a quick play, make sure it works and it's ringing out and your finger's in a good position. Then lift the finger off about 1 centimetre or so and we'll give it a play after 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and E, 2, 3, 4 and G, 2, 3, 4. Simple as that. So playing that open string 4 times and then quickly fretting that note, the G on the 3rd fret after 4, so that you can change the note from E to G. So to make sure we've got the hang of moving between those 2 notes and we can go back and forth from E to G, we're going to have a go at playing along with the backing track again. So the backing track is going to go E minor and G and E minor and G. We're going to play that 4 times along to the backing track. We're just going to play E and G. And that should match up nicely with the chords that are being played on the backing track. So just like in the first video when we were looking at the picking hand technique, the backing track has a bass guitar, a rhythm guitar and drums on it. The drums are going to count us in with 4 cymbal hits, so it's tss, 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 and then we're in straight away. So start off by setting the hand up on that G 3rd fret, give it a quick play, make sure it's working out and your finger's in a good position, then lift the finger off about 1 centimetre so you're ready to play. I'll count you in after 4. So listening out for that drum count in. 2, 3, 4 and E, G, E, G, E, G. One more time. E, G, and E. And that's it for the backing track for the moment. So we're just simply trying to play between the open E string note and the 3rd fret G, and then keeping that going nice and in time, getting that fretting hand finger used to working in time and in synchronization with the picking hand so that everything works together and you get nice clean transitions from an open string to a fretted note. And back again. Okay, so that's the basics of the technique covered. Hopefully now we can hold down the fretted note nice and cleanly, get a good clean note ringing out of the guitar. We're not getting any of these kind of dead sounding or buzzing kind of notes, and we're able to move nice and cleanly between a fretted note and an open string or the other way around. But it has to be said, that is not the most exciting piece of music that we've ever heard or had a go at playing. It's probably not the piece of music you heard and made you go, I want to play guitar! So now we've got the hang of moving between the open string and the 3rd fret. We're going to mix it up a little bit. So we're going to have a go at putting those 2 notes together in a little pattern or a riff. And the riff is going to sound like this. It's going to go E, E, G, E. 1, 2, 3, 4 and E, E, G, E. So you may recognise that from the track at the beginning of the video where I was playing through that riff on this string, and then I switched to playing the same riff on the other E string, the low E string. So it's exactly the same notes that we've already been using, so we want to find that fret 3, quick play to make sure it's ringing out and you've got a good finger position, and then we're going to move the finger off the string, and we're going to start off with the finger up. We're going to play E, E, G, E. So that's it, that's our riff that we're going to have a go at playing along with the backing track. On the backing track we're going to go through it 8 times. The first 4 I'll talk you through, I'll explain what's going on, I'll say E, E, G, E or something similar, and then there'll be the big drum fill in the middle of the backing track, and then there'll be 4 more times through where you can just have a go at playing it through by yourself without me running on in the background. So get your finger set up, play that 3rd fret note, make sure it sounds good, finger off the string to begin with, walking fingers ready to go. After 4 we're going to go for it. So listening for those cymbal hits to count us in. 2, 3, 4 and E, E, E. 1, 2, 3, 4. Off, off, on, off. 1, 2, 3, 4. E, E, G, E. 1, 2, 3, 4 and off, off, on, off. Keep going. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. E note to finish. 3, 4. So hopefully you're able to keep up with that and play along with the backing track. You were nice and in time, and your changes between fretted notes and open strings were nice and clean. There's no buzzes or funny notes that didn't quite ring out. If you think you could play it a little bit better, maybe give it another go. But to take things forward, we're actually going to use that riff in the next video as well. But we won't be playing it on the high E string. We're going to be playing it on the 3 thickest strings on the guitar. So at this point, it's a good idea to start experimenting with playing that pattern, that off, off, on different strings. So we'll have a quick look at using the thumb to play the string and get the thumb playing some nice clear sounding notes. So I'll just have a quick go at playing through the riff using the thumb. I'm going to use my 2nd finger on my fretting hand to hold down the 3rd fret on that string. Give that a play, make sure it's ringing out nice and clean. Then I'm going to lift the finger up. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 and E, E, G, E. 1, 2, 3, 4 and off, off, on, off. And that's it, that's the riff. So to finish up, we're going to have a go at playing that along to the backing track and see how we get on. So hands set up on the guitar, thumb ready on that thick E string, fretting hand ready with the 2nd finger on that 3rd fret note. Give it a play, make sure it works, and then lift the finger about 1 centimetre off, ready to play. We're going to go off, off, on, off. We're going to play it 8 times, just like we did with the backing track before. I'll talk you through the first 4 times, big drum fill, see if you can carry on to the end by yourself. So, listening out for those cymbal hits to give us our intro. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 and off, off, on, off. 1, 2, 3, 4. E, E, G, E. 1, 2, 3, 4. Off, off, on, off. 1, 2, 3, 4. E note to finish. 3, 4. And that's it. How did you get on? Was it nice and clean? Did you stay in time with the backing track? Were you able to move nice and cleanly between the fretted note and the open string without getting any buzzing notes or notes that just didn't quite ring out? Give it a few goes, get the hang of it, and then start experimenting on the guitar a little bit. What happens if you use the 6th fret instead? That's not going to work with the backing track. That'll sound terrible. But have a go at playing it on your own. So it'll be something like that. A little bit more scary sounding. But experiment with the guitar a little bit, mess around with these riffs, try out different frets, different strings, different combinations of notes. It doesn't have to be off, off, on, off. It could be on, off, any combinations you can think of, any string you can think of. The more you experiment, the more comfortable this technique is going to feel. Try and stick to using the thumb for the thicker strings, and then have a go at using the walking fingers technique for the thinner strings, and then have a go at playing it on one string, and then while you're counting to 4 in between, move to another string, because that's exactly what we're going to be doing in the next video. We're going to take this riff, and we're going to move it around from string to string. So, I hope you've enjoyed playing along with this video and your fretting hand is feeling like it's got good control, good connection with the strings, and everything's sounding great, wonderful and lovely. If you are enjoying these lessons, then please do subscribe to the channel and click on the little notification bell so you know when the new lessons are coming up. If you know anybody else who fancies up playing a little bit of guitar, then share this video with them, let them know all about it. We'll get everybody playing guitar. It'll be amazing. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.